course, a very rich field here of athletes. You can see very, very slow, measured start here. Nobody really wants to inject too much pace here as they begin. Of course, that may just work against you as the race advances. So the trick here is just to run a very controlled race. Don't burn yourself out this early, with still a long, long way to go. And pardon me, Kasait actually won the 5,000 meters in the last edition, and not the 10,000. The 10,000 was won by Ethiopia, who did a podium sweep with Sehai Gemechu winning the gold in 31 minutes 55 seconds .92, which was followed by Zainaba Yimer, also from Ethiopia, with Dera Dida finishing third. So of course Kenya will be looking to get a hold of that title, and I think we have a good field here, and I believe that the top 3 athletes who come from here will be able to give Ethiopia a run for their money.
It's not all about the Ethiopians, by the way, because you look at the likes of South Africa, they're coming really well in that one. Tanzania is also going to be represented. We'll be waiting to see also the Ugandans, what they're capable of doing in this one. And of course, it being held in Accra, Ghana, I know the home girls will want to make a mark also in the athletic scene. Remember, this is an Olympic year, so everyone is trying. This will also act as a qualifier for the Olympics that will be held in Paris later on this year. And that straight away leading, as usual, Sandra Phyllis Chebet, pedigree athlete over the 10,000 meters. It's so hard to tell who's going to take the first break here, because you look at them, they are really, really close to each other. Look at that. That is Janet Chepngeny of Keringet also coming through. And of course, Edina Jerio, Teach Kibiwot, very, very, very seasonal runner for that matter, and taking the second lap of the 10,000 meters. Remember, afterwards we'll have the hurdle semi-finals, both for the men and women, and it's the men semi-finals, and before ushering in the 100 meters, which we expect also to be very, very competitive. Marco Tieno making a comeback. Isaac Omura Kundu, the Africa Junior champion over the 100 meters, he is also an athlete that will be aiming to raise Kenyan flag high in Accra, Ghana, in the games that begin this very Friday.
Yeah, it's you feel like it's too close to call already. This Friday there's barely time for these athletes really. Hopefully the races won't take at all on them, because there's just so much time for recovery if they sign this Friday. So you need to be in good condition really, because the pressure will of course be on Kenya to bring quite the medals. Just to give you a brief history, Kenya won. Kenya finished 7th overall in Morocco in 2019 with 11 gold, 10 silver, and 10 bronze. I think our best so far remains 2011 in Maputo, where Kenya got 14 gold, 14 silver, and 22 bronze, bringing home a total of 50 medals in total. That was in Maputo in 2011, where Kenya finished 6th. So of course there'll be a lot of pressure, especially from the administrators waiting to see what Kenya is going to bring home this time round. Of course, you always want to do the very best. You always want to bring in more than the previous years, but it's not always easy because, like mentioned, really a lot of African athletes really are catching up. A lot of African countries are catching up with us. Ethiopia are always up there. Uganda are doing well in both men's and women's competitions. Of course, South Africa and of course Ghana, who will be hosting the event, will be looking to put in some very good home performance. So it's getting ever so competitive, but of course we have the quality and the caliber of athletes to keep flying our flags high.
Janet Chepngetich still in the lead here as they head towards the third lap, and of course, deciding to set the pace is Rebecca Mwangi. We know that she can run from the front. Sandra Phyllis Chebet falling just a little bit. She's now down to 8th spot here. But then the tall figure of Janet Chepngetich in between Edna Jebitok, Kibiwot of E10, and they seem to be setting the pace for this one as the 10,000 meters women final starts and slowly takes shape. Rebecca Mwangi, her typical way of running things, how do you predict that she will fare on heading into the next laps?
I feel she has a pedigree. Remember, she stunned the field during the first Athletics Kenya track and field meeting in Nairobi last year. She's based in Japan. That's where she trains a lot. So for her, I think when she comes here, I think this is where she loves to come and just compete with the very best the country has in store. So she has the pedigree to stretch this field as much as possible, and you can see she's put herself really at the top there, at the front. She's like, okay, I'm going to inject a bit more pace here. I feel this has been too comfortable. Maybe it's about time we stretch the field a bit more, and you can see she's decided to go in as we come round to finish the third lap. Remember, this is a race that is run 24 laps across the track. So there's still quite a long way to go, but Rebecca Mwangi looks like she's decided, okay, I'll inject some pace here, and it looks comfortable really for all the athletes so far.
Monica Wangui hanging in there. She doesn't want to stay further behind, and you can see she's really trying, currently holding the 9th position, but then it's still too close to tell. Of course, as Steve says, Rebecca Njeri Mwangi, based in Japan, showing why she's back at home to try out and qualify for the All Africa Games. But then you look at how they are lining up. Of course, the games will also be used as trials for the Olympic Games to be held in Paris later on this year, and this is the perfect opportunity for these athletes to try out and see if they can make it to Paris. But still in the lead is Rebecca Mwangi. And of course the tall figure of Edna Kibiwot, and of course we are talking about Janet Chepngetich still in there, but that is Rebecca Mwangi. Sandra Phil is currently in 4th position as they head towards the 5th lap. Victor. Still too close to call. The athletes close to each other. Rebecca Mwangi still dictating the pace there. Edna Kibiwot, the tallest of these athletes, currently in 3rd. And of course, Janet Chepngetich not letting it go, still in 2nd position. Sandra Phil is now in 4th. And of course, that is Monica Wanjiku just checking things from the 7th position currently. But then it's Rebecca Mwangi. Janet Chepngetich of Keringet now taking the lead from Rebecca Mwangi. They're exchanging leads here, and of course Wanjiku deciding to start, also coming to the front. Sandra Phyllis hasn't made a move yet.
Sandra Phyllis, the double Africa Under-20 silver medalist, putting herself right in the mix there. She's also the world under 18 2,000 meters steeplechase silver medalist, so a lot of experience really on her young shoulders, and she's really right there in the mix, wearing the same bib color as Rebecca Wanjiku. Rebecca Mwangi rather. Very even race here so far. Rebecca Mwangi still keeping herself on top of the queue. as Janet Chepngetich grabs a bottle of water there just to quench her thirst a bit and boost us. Obviously, as you do most of these races, sometimes you don't want to overhydrate, as you are likely to suffer what is commonly known in sports as a stitch. But Janet there just saying a little bit more to quench the thirst will help me go the distance.
Rebecca Mwangi is still in the lead with Janet Chepngetich still there, hanging in there. Rebecca Mwangi peeping through, checking over her shoulder, and that is Sandra Phillips being, I think there's a tactic to see if they can box out Sandra Phillips. That is Rebecca Mwangi and of course Janet Chepngetich. You can look at how they're looking over the shoulders to see where the real threat is, and that is Sandra Phillips, and you can feel that there is nobody leaving this for chance. Limited spaces, limited numbers, and of course the competition, a pedigree one, all in focus is, and the ultimate, of course, the ultimate prize, and that is qualification for the All Africa Games to be held in Ghana. And of course, some of the teams in Kenya have already gone. The tennis team is already in Accra, Ghana, preparing for this, the likes of Angela Okutoi, and now it's time for the athletes to try out and see who qualifies for this, and that is Rebecca Mwangi quenching her thirst at that water point, and Sandra Phillips, of course, coming from the outside and currently occupying the 4th position, but number 2 and 3 hasn't changed.
No, not at all, really. I think this is how it's been like the last 3 laps. As we see there, Sandra Phillips Chebet saying, okay, I'm good, I can take this over. And of course now the figures of Sandra Phillips and Rebecca Mwangi are both very conspicuous in their yellow bibs, taking the lead there, trying to stretch this field as much as possible as you get ever so close to the business end of the race. Still some distance to go, but this is where really now you start putting the pressure on the rest of the athletes, asking them questions. So far, the answers are there. Every athlete looks like they have the answer really to keep up with this pace. But it's just a matter of time really, and I'm sure that maybe 1 or 2 athletes will get impatient with this pace, or rather they'll just feel like, no, we can inject a bit more. This is a bit too slow for me. And of course, there's so much at stake here. Not just the African Games that are happening this weekend. There's so much at stake. But they're still running here together as Rebecca Mwangi takes back the leading role there, with the taller figure of Sandra Phillips tracking her. So still really nobody has decided to make any decisive move here. Looks like they're all waiting for the final 5 laps. I think that's where we are going to get the fireworks.
So of course to expect fireworks, but that is Rebecca Mwangi and Sandra Phillips, more like what we expected. And of course looking at Edna Kibiwot, they are not letting it go. Of course also Rebecca and Jerry Mwangi in the mix, but this is the 10,000 meters women final. No second chances, nothing to leave, no room to leave anything at chance, and this is the final of the 10,000 meters. You expect too much to be happening here, and of course also watch out for the likes of Mary Mananu of Embu. She's also in the mix, so it's not easy to predict what's going to happen. But Rebecca Mwangi, as usual, with a very unique way of running, bending just a little bit forward as she takes the strides. And look at the tall figure of Edna Jerotich Kibiwot in 2nd place and Sandra Phillips in 3rd. So this is proving to be a very interesting race. And coming from the outside is Sarah Wanjiru of Central, currently occupying the 4th position. She knows that she has a chance, and falling just a bit after taking 2nd position for quite some time is Janet Chepngetich, but still very early days in this one. Rebecca Wanjiku Mwangi still in the lead with of course Edna Jerotich Kibiwot in 2nd, and the favorite, of course, Sandra Phillips Chebet in 3rd, currently the former world junior champion.
Yeah, and you can see here Edna Jerotich Kibiwot also just trying to put herself ahead here. She feels comfortable to challenge Rebecca Mwangi and Sandra Phillips Chebet, who've been the two of them who've been exchanging the leads here since the 2nd lap, I must say. But you can see here Janet, the tall figure of Janet there, trying to challenge Rebecca for that lead. Good strides there. As you can see in your images, their feet really going on in sync. Very beautiful images there, you can see. Just shows you that these are athletes who are in sync with their speed. Of course, in most of these long distance races, you always want to pick your rhythm and just progress with it. The moment you interrupt it, then you may find yourself falling back. That's why you find that most athletes, when especially at the water point, you find them just interrupting their rhythm a bit, just to grab the water, and then they settle back into their run. Very, very important for you to just pick your rhythm and move with it. The more you disrupt it, the more I think your body asks you a lot of questions like, why are you doing this to me? So still even Stevens here. As they cross the line, 16 minutes gone here. Just about the same amount of time remaining?
Just about the same amount of time remaining, but look at the tall figure of Edna Kibiwott of E10 currently taking the lead. She's using her strides well, but then Rebecca Mwangi, with typical fashion, seems to be very, very strong. Sandra Phillips currently in third, and of course Monica Wanjiku there, another tall figure in these 10,000 meters, passing through the water point. Nobody really interested, and you can look at Sarah Wanjiru currently in fourth. She is very, very strong. She looks really strong heading into this one, but Sandra Phillips hasn't yet made a move, and she seems to be watching every move that the Japan-based Wanjiru is throwing, and look at that. And of course, just to take you through the lineup of the day, currently we are doing the 10,000 meters, and you can see Sandra Phillips and of course Rebecca Mwangi exchanging a few words there. Seems to have someone seems to have tripped the other here, but still it's a competition, nothing lost, no love lost between the two teammates, and of course they will be looking forward to see who makes the first move. And of course it seemed to have been a communication between the two, and now it's Sandra Phillips who's injected some pace and currently in the lead. Ruth Chepngetich, not really Ruth Chepngetich, but Edna Kibiwott in second place, trying to answer the question that Sandra Phillips asked. Rebecca Wanjiku Njeri Mwangi in third position at the moment, and of course after falling a little bit, Janet Chepngetich now in fourth. The field is starting to separate, and now you can see we are heading into the real business end of matters here. And now Chepngetich and Jerotich Kibiwott in the lead, Sandra Phillips in second, and of course Rebecca Mwangi in third. This is proving to be very, very interesting, and of course just closing by is Janet Chepngetich.
And you can see Janet Chepngetich, they are trying to keep up with the space here. It's getting ever so tight here now. This is the time now where you separate yourself from the crowd. This is where now you earn yourself that ticket, that elusive ticket, that ticket that hundreds, even thousands of runners in Kenya want to get. Go represent Kenya out there. And for today, it's the African Games trials, with the competition happening in Ghana from Friday. As we see Janet Chepngetich there, just getting past Rebecca Njeri Mwangi, who looks like she's falling behind here. As we see Edina Jerotich Kibiwott there, I think the pace that she's injected here is taking a toll on the rest of the athletes. With Rebecca Njeri Mwangi especially, looks like she is out of it. Rebecca is out of it, I can call. She'll need to put in a lot of effort and energy here for her to close down on the top three, as Edina Kibiwott crosses the line there, still leading. Looks like she wants to take this nice and easy, but Sandra Phillips Chebet is not so far behind, as Janet Chepngetich tracking down Sandra Felix, and looks like she's going to pass here. So looks like Rebecca Njeri and Sandra Felix, I think the pace that they set initially, last 2-3 races whereby they were on the lead, I feel like it's taken a toll on them. As you see, Edina Kibiwot some 20 meters ahead of the race, and looks like she wants to take this home.
Of course, early days in this one, but then you look at the way Edna Jerotich Kibiwot of E10 has taken matters into her own hands, injecting that pace and ensuring that she breaks away from the rest of the field. This will be very interesting, especially heading into the last quarter of this race. Remember, this is the 10,000 meters women final. 3 opportunities. Number 1, 2, and 3, of course, will be selected in the provisional team for the All Africa Games. And of course, right now in the driver's seat is Edna Jerotich Kibiwot of E10, distantly followed by Janet Chepngetich of Keringet, Sandra Phyllis, and of course Rebecca Njeri Mwangi have fallen quite way back, and it will be interesting to see what they are capable to do. Do they have answers towards the questions that the likes of Edna Jerotich and of course Janet Chepngetich have put in these 10,000 meters? So it's really interesting. Look at the way Edna Jerotich Kibiwot has managed to set the pace and ensure that she takes control of matters here in the 10,000 meters. And in second place, the lady from Keringet, Janet Chepngetich, she looks really strong in the second place. Sandra Phyllis in third, and of course Rebecca Mwangi in fourth. So this is the ultimate way of ensuring that you stamp your authorities over these distances. And of course, we are talking about an athlete that has long strides, experience. Edna Jerotich Kibiwot, she's still in the lead. Will she maintain towards the end of matters here? We'll be waiting to see. And of course, in second place is Janet Chepngetich. She's trying to come in and trying to close that gap that has extended to around 30-45 meters. And Sandra Phyllis Chebet way back in third. Now that distance is too long to cover, and we'll be looking forward to see what they are capable of doing. Rebecca Mwangi, who took the early lead in this one, she's struggling to catch up with the rest. So let's wait and see what happens as we head towards the last 8 minutes or so of this one.
I feel like she's tiring a bit there, the leader Edina Kibiwot. I feel like Janet Chepngetich has closed down the gap, and she's eating into that lead ever so more. Makes you wonder whether Edina actually pumped forward too fast, but she still has a very healthy lead here. Edina, and bar a catastrophe really, for example, a freak injury or a fall or something, I feel like she's going to make it into the top 3 who will be representing Kenya at the African Games in Accra, Ghana. I feel like Janet Chepngetich is smelling blood here, but if I were her, I wouldn't push myself too hard because the third place athlete here, Sandra Felix Chebet, is a healthy 50 or so meters away, 70. But Edina is still really leading this race quite comfortably, if you ask me. But Janet Chepngetich looks like she's not content with second place. And if she keeps up that speed, she's eating into that lead. You feel like they won't finish this lap before Janet closes down ever so close as they take the bend to finish yet another lap in the next 100 meters or so. So it looks like it's going to be this way with Edina Kibiwot. There she goes, Janet Chepngetich. Very strong run here from her. She looks comfortable. She looks like she's not struggling. But you can see the grimacing face of Edina Jerotich Kibiwot. Just like I've been asking myself, did she go too hard? Yes, she split the field, did her big favor. But in terms of who's winning it, looks like Janet really has the momentum and the endurance to go all the way and win it, as she looks behind to see where the rest of the field are.
We are looking at a race that has two very good athletes, and now you can see the overtaking lane. The indicators have been lit, and that is Janet Chepngetich now taking the lead. And I think the difference was when Edna Jerotich went at the water point to quench her thirst, and it was an opportunity for Janet Chepngetich to come and pounce, closing the gap, and we can see she is now in the lead. And of course, in the lead right now is Rebecca Mwangi. Sandra Phyllis Chebet seems to have dropped out of the race. We'll be waiting to see what really happened. Sandra Phyllis dropped out of the race, and now currently occupying the third place is Rebecca Mwangi, and we'll be waiting to see what comes out of this one. But right now in the lead very comfortably is Janet Chepngetich of Keringet. Edna Jerotich Kibiwot currently in second. She seems to be tiring a little bit, just as Steve says, and maybe, just maybe, Rebecca Mwangi might smell blood here, but then it's a huge distance, close to 200 meters of this one. And of course, we'll be talking about who actually has the best management skills to see this through.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way Janet Chepngetich, who's leading the race, the way she tracked down Edina Kibiwot nice and slow. After every 200 meters, she was eating into that lead, and now she looks very comfortable. I feel like she can let down her guns now, and she'll be able still to finish this race with just about 3-4 laps remaining before the bell goes to signal the end of this race, or rather to signal the last lap. As she takes the bend there, she's created some distance between her and the dethroned leader here, Edina Kibiwot from Iten. That's Mercy Chemutai Korir from South Rift crossing the line now. She's going to be lapped here by the leader here, Janet Chepngetich. Of course, very easy on the eye, some of these races, until you put on your running boots and get into the competition. That's where now you realize it's never that easy. But of course, these are athletes who they train for this. It's what they live for. As you see Rebecca Mwangi there crossing the line way behind Edina Kibiwot, who's in second place now. So you do feel like a catastrophe. It's going to be Janet Chepngetich, Edina Kibiwot, and Japan-based Rebecca Mwangi, who will be representing Kenya in Accra, Ghana, as from this Friday. Very comfortable run here by our new leader. Not new really, she's been on it for the last 3 laps. Janet Chepngetich from Keringet. Cruising home. Edina Kibiwot also crosses the line. Some 150 meters behind her compatriot here, Janet. Of course, Janet here from Keringet and Edina from Iten, and Rebecca Mwangi running as an individual athlete. But the moment they go to Ghana, they are going to be putting on the Kenyan kit. They'll be representing the country and hoping to wrestle the title from Ethiopia. And not just Ethiopia. This is a distance that world over is becoming ever so competitive. Remember, it's a competition that Kenya has continuously won, the likes of Helen Obiri, the great Vivian Cheruiyot, some of the athletes who have made Kenya proud in this distance. Of course, all this happening at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi. It's the women's 10,000 meters final. As Janet grabs a bottle of water there. I believe that will be the last one. She'll be able to last her until she crosses the line here to win at this final. Very focused run here by the leader from Iten, from Keringet rather. She comes to cross the line here. And she takes the bell. She takes the bell there. Janet Chepngetich. It's daylight between her and the second place athlete here, Edina Kibiwot, who is just getting into the bell now. She gets an applause from the crowd just to push her. She gets the bell there. Edina Kibiwot, who made the decisive move in this race, but then she pumped too much, and that gave Janet Chepngetich the opportunity to pass her at some point. As Rebecca Mwangi also gets the bell here, she's going to finish third. She takes the bend there. Janet Chepngetich. She's coming to win this. Janet Chepngetich injects the last pace. Very controlled run, beautiful run. Look at that finish. You think like you feel like she just finished this race and you feel like she still has the energy really to go another five laps here. Mulemi, very good run from her. Timed it perfectly. Was not desperate. Took her time. Was patient even when other athletes were exchanging leads. But at the end of the day, it works for her. As we see, Edina Jerotich Kibiwot also crossing the line to finish second.
Currently ranked 31st in the 10,000 meters in the world. That is Janet Chepngetich. But on your screens,